The truth, you're not going to get health care to these people by threatening to tax and eat the rich. You raise billionaires' taxes, they just leave the state. Or they leave the country. Or in some cases, the planet. I kid Elon, but you know, he had a good idea recently that might be apropos here. During the recent government shutdown, he volunteered to pay all the TSA workers himself, you know, with couch money. That's how super rich our super rich are. They can single-handedly fund entire government programs. Okay, so let's make that a thing. The Adopt a Cause Challenge for billionaires.
To be fair, this is actually...
I was being fair.
No, this is a huge Democratic Party problem. If you look at Democratic cities, they are terribly run. They have incredibly high taxes. It is impossible to build, so the cost of housing... Let me finish, I'll give you a chance. The cost of housing is crazy in places like New York and Chicago. If you look at Democratic states, you know, you go look at New York versus Florida, okay? Roughly the same population. The budget of New York State is twice that of Florida. What do they have? Streets paved with gold? I live in New York. I pay the highest taxes in New York. You get nothing for it. And I think that is the image people have of the Democratic Party.
A common claim in these discussions is that some political figures frequently repeat tax the rich rhetoric, which critics argue is disconnected from economic realities. Bill Maher, in particular, is portrayed as rejecting this approach, suggesting it risks alienating high earners and may have broader economic consequences. In this framing, he presents himself as challenging what he sees as unrealistic political messaging.
New rule, someone has to explain the American economy to me. I know I've said this before, I still don't get it. Last week was tax day, and as usual, because HBO is so generous, and I'm sure so will be the new owners, I paid to the government, if you add in state tax, local sales, property, fees, Obamacare, probably almost 60% of what I earn. That's a lot. And I still wouldn't mind if Bernie Sanders would stop saying the rich don't pay taxes. And while I'm sure the super rich with their army of accountants and corporate loopholes get away with murder, us regular rich people pay a ton of taxes.
Maher is described as directly confronting Bernie Sanders' long-standing argument that wealthy individuals do not pay their fair share in taxes. Speaking from his own experience as a high-income taxpayer, he argues that the rich already contribute significant portions of their earnings. His central point is that public debate often overlooks actual tax data and lived financial realities.
The top 10% pay 72% of all federal income taxes, and the bottom half, 3%. The Democratic Socialists talk about socialism like we don't already have a lot. Social Security, unemployment, Medicare, nutritional assistance, Medicaid, Obamacare, disability, housing subsidies. Again, not against it, just the same question. How can you be soaking the rich and failing the poor so badly?
A recurring theme in the argument is that high-tax states like California are experiencing population outflows, particularly among wealthier residents. Critics attribute this to dissatisfaction with taxation levels and government performance. Issues such as infrastructure strain, housing costs, and public services are presented as evidence that increased revenue does not always translate into visible improvement.
I've looked at moving because I'd like to keep more of my money too, and
how many people moved out of your state, California?
Oh, I know.
Under Newsom?
Yeah, no. People do move.
A
There's
million.
no doubt about that. People move in America, and you're right.
No, but they're not moving because they want a better view. They like to keep more of their money that they earn.
Yeah, that's true.
Look, Florida is a really good case study. So when DeSantis became governor, there were 250,000 more registered Democrats in Florida when he became governor 8 years ago. Now there's 1.4 million more registered Republicans in Florida. That's all migration from COVID and re-registration from COVID, 100%. Right. So it absolutely is happening.
Maher's perspective is also framed as personal, as he has considered leaving California himself. This is used to illustrate the broader claim that even high-income taxpayers feel the pressure of taxation relative to perceived public inefficiency. The narrative suggests that this sentiment is not limited to elites, but is shared more widely among residents who relocate.
Here's the truth. You're not going to get health care to these people by threatening to tax and eat the rich. You raise billionaires' taxes, they just leave the state. Or they leave the country. Or in some cases, the planet. I kid Elon, but you know, he had a good idea recently that might be apropos here. During the recent government shutdown, he volunteered to pay all the TSA workers himself, you know, with couch money. That's how super rich our super rich are. They can single-handedly fund entire government programs. Okay, so let's make that a thing. The Adopt a Cause challenge for billionaires.
The argument further emphasizes that taxation itself is not rejected outright, but rather its scale and effectiveness are questioned. Critics argue that simply increasing taxes on the wealthy is not a sustainable solution if public funds are not managed efficiently. They call for greater transparency and accountability in how government spending is allocated and monitored.
Teachers who buy school supplies with their own money, or people without homes, or disaster victims, whatever it is, make the rich competitive about solving it, because that's all they care about anyway, beating each other. Yeah. Just skip the middleman, the government and the healthcare bureaucracies that for whatever reason, no matter how much they take in, never seem to get enough to the people, and just shame the billionaires into doing it directly because they have all the money, and noblesse oblige isn't just the name of a cologne.
An alternative idea presented in the discussion is the concept of directly assigning wealthy individuals or corporations specific social responsibilities. Instead of expanding taxation, this model suggests targeted, visible contributions to issues like homelessness or infrastructure. The intention is to ensure measurable outcomes and clearer public accountability for large-scale resources.
I think, to be fair, this is actually...
I was being fair.
No, this is a huge Democratic Party problem. If you look at Democratic cities, they are terribly run. They have incredibly high taxes. It is impossible to build, so the cost of housing... Let me finish, I'll give you a chance. Cost of housing is crazy in places like New York and Chicago. If you look at Democratic states, you go look at New York versus Florida, okay? Roughly the same population. The budget of New York State is twice that of Florida. What do they have? The streets paved with gold? I live in New York. I pay the highest taxes in New York. You get nothing for it. And I think that is the image people have of the Democratic Party.
States such as New York are also cited as examples of similar structural challenges, where high taxation is paired with rising living costs and public dissatisfaction. Despite substantial public revenue, concerns persist about affordability, safety, and urban conditions. This contrast is used to support the argument that funding alone does not guarantee effective governance.
Do you think that Mamdani's election will lead more financial organizations to leave New York City for Wall Street South in Florida? Tell me, I've read that term just recently, Wall Street South, Florida. This is your state. What is that?
A lot of Wall Street guys have moved to Palm Beach. It's been happening really since COVID. It's accelerated with increases in taxes. It's not just out of New York. It's New Jersey, Connecticut, it's Chicago, it's California.
So they're fleeing high tax blue states for Florida.
At the same time, the discussion distinguishes between different types of population movement. While some cities experience migration due to lifestyle or personal preferences, the departure from states like California and New York is portrayed as more economically driven. This is interpreted by critics as a response to fiscal pressure rather than simple relocation trends.
And this is the luckiest guy in the world that Mamdani got elected, because his district is going to explode. My house, I live 8 miles outside of Queens, has gone up 20% in value since Mamdani announced. Okay? Because people aren't going to pay the punishing taxes. New York is the highest tax state in the union.
But you said your house value's gone up.
Yeah, because they're moving to Nassau County.
Oh, they're moving out of the city.
Out of the city, and they can still take the train back in the city and not pay the millionaire's tax or whatever crazy thing this guy wants. But what people don't understand is he can't raise the taxes unless the state okays it. and the state is not going to okay it.
Finally, the broader consequence highlighted is the redistribution of wealth and population to lower tax states, which can create new pressures in those regions as well. Rising demand contributes to higher housing costs and living expenses, potentially repeating similar challenges elsewhere. This cycle is presented as a wider national issue, where policy decisions in one region can indirectly affect economic conditions across the country.